Hello guys and welcome to Gusi Sports TV, and today we'll be having an in-depth analysis of Shabana FC's first 4 matches in the FKF Premier League 2023-2024 edition. The latest match for Shabana FC, the Glamour Boys, has been at Raila Odinga Homa Bay Stadium, where recently they hosted Kariobangi Sharks in a match that fans came in their numbers. More than 4,000 were officially noted down at the Raila Odinga Homa Bay Stadium to watch a display of Shabana FC. As usual, as the other 3 fixtures in the FKF Premier League, the match was goalless at the halftime break, just like the other matches. In the second half is where all hell broke loose, as it has been breaking loose for the past 4 matches, whereby in all those matches, Shabana FC has conceded in the second half, and again Shabana FC has only managed to score in 2 out of the first 4 matches in the FKF Premier League. It was more of a fair balance in the match for Shabana FC, and in that second half against Kariobangi Sharks, we saw Samuel Court, the head coach, going out bold, and just before the hour mark of the second half or of the match, we saw him having 3 players taken out and 3 fresh legs being introduced, including Omuri, the youngster who is playing for Shabana FC. We saw Vincent Nyabuto Socha being introduced into the match to try and introduce new legs into the match and see whether Shabana FC will have sealed a victory in this game. However, just again, like the other matches in the FKF Premier League, the first 4 matches, it was goalless at the 90th mark. But at the added time is where all hell broke loose, where Onyango managed to get behind the Shabana FC defense and net a late score, a late winner for Kariobangi Sharks in the added stoppage time of the FKF Premier League. However, the score where Shabana lost 1-0 in the late did not settle well with the thousands of fans who support Shabana FC, a team that has had a wonderful campaign in the FKF Division 1. They got promoted to the National Super League, and now they are in the FKF Premier League after close to 17 years in the cold of it. The fans up to now, 4 match weeks, have not seen Shabana recording a victory, and the team has only managed to pick 2 points. But that is not the talking point. What currently is hurting the fans is the nature in which Shabana FC is conceding in the stoppage time, which is 90 plus. The fans are here to understand how Shabana can contain a match for 90 minutes without a score, but when it reaches the added time, which is mainly 3 to 4 minutes, that is when Shabana FC gets to concede in most of the matches. Let me take you back. The first match, Shabana FC was playing against the new kids in the block, Muranga Seal, and in the match it was all draw, a comfortable match for Shabana FC. But when the added time was made, we saw Awita Bats scoring for Muranga Seal, picking all the 3 points after a defensive lapse by the Shabana FC defense, which made the goalkeeper Eric Ongiri helpless in the one-on-one encounter versus Muranga Seal. After that, Shabana had a wonderful trip to Nyayo Stadium, where they got hosted by Talanta FC, and in that match again, we saw Shabana displaying a good match, a good recovery from the first match in terms of the gameplay of the team. But again, in that very match again, we saw Shabana FC conceding to Talanta FC, which was more of a goalkeeping error or a miscommunication between the backline defense and the goalkeeper. Talanta FC got a goal, but thanks to Justin Omwando Masai, who reacted in the nick of time in the 11th hour to salvage at least a point for Shabana FC at Nyayo Stadium, still at the stop. We expect Shabana to learn from the first two matches when they were to play their third match. For the third match, it was still at the Raila Odinga Homa Bay Stadium, where Shabana FC was playing host to Police FC, a team they understand very well from the National Super League. And again, in the very match, it was a wonderful game for Shabana FC. Towards the clock of the stoppage time, Shabana FC was lucky to get a first score in the game, and it was the first time Shabana FC is scoring first in the FKF Premier League through Peter Ogechi Maestro, who is currently the captain for Shabana FC. But again, we saw another defensive lapse in the last minute that gave Police FC a chance to equalize the match and go home with a sweet 1 point that was a painful pill to swallow for the Shabana FC fans. Fans expected Shabana to be of character when they were playing match week 4 at their home turf, which is the Raila Odinga Homa Bay Stadium, when they were playing Kariobangi Sharks, a team they have no history in terms of playing with because they've not met in other prior leagues or other prior matches. And in the same match, Kariobangi Sharks, which boasts of having a young squad that has an average age of 22 years, was able to walk away with 3 points at the Raila Odinga Homa Bay Stadium, leaving helpless the thousands of fans of Shabana, most of them who came many kilometers away, some from Nyamira, some from Kisii, some from Nairobi, some from as far as Mombasa, who spent lots of cash along the way, who spent lots of time traveling, watching the game, but had to go back to tiresome, disappointing journey back home after Shabana FC dropping points again in the last minute. Now, the discussion currently in the sporting world and the sports stakeholders is what is not happening for Shabana FC when it reaches the stoppage time. Of course, in soccer, we say that soccer is a game of all possibilities. Anything can happen. But when something happens again and again and again and again for 4 times, it now becomes a coincidence. What is missing this coincidence for Shabana FC, which if the coincidence continues, we will see many teams exerting more pressure to Shabana FC when it reaches the injury time, or rather what we call the proverbial faggy time. What is not happening for Shabana FC? For the past goals, we've seen one of them being a goalkeeping error, one of it being a defensive error. Then when we talk about the Police FC match and the Kariobangi Sharks match, it is not directly a goalkeeping error. There's a bit of defensive error, but the bigger picture is a concentration issue for Shabana FC. What makes it difficult for them to concentrate in this last minute? Part of the thing that makes Shabana difficult to concentrate in all these matches is that at the 90th mark in all these matches, Shabana FC has always been in a place whereby mostly they are at a draw where they are guaranteed of 1 point. But the pressure of the fans that Shabana has, be it in the home match, in the away match, are always thirsting for the bragging rights of a victory. And therefore, the team in the stoppage time, most of the time, part of the mentality is not really to concentrate more on the defensive, but to see whether they can push and have a last-minute score that can make the team walk away with 3 points. And therefore, to mean that at the stoppage time, Shabana FC is always vulnerable at the defense because psychologically, the fan, the players, the technical bench is thinking about what can they do in the dying minutes to have a victory, 3 points in the FKF Premier League, because in most matches, looking at the number of fans that Shabana has, a draw is not a suitable result for Shabana. They always want a win. And therefore, it's along that wish to look for a win that they get to be scored. That is what happened for the Muranga Seal, whereby in the dying minutes, Shabana pushed more of their players forward, pressuring Muranga Seal for a goal. Then with the counter-attack, that is when we saw Shabana FC being scored the last minute. They were pushing for a win. Look at the Talanta FC game again. Shabana FC was pushing for a goal because at the 90th mark, the game was still at a draw. Shabana felt they were in control of the game. At that particular time, there was a concentration lapse in defense, and that's when we saw Shabana FC conceding. Look at the Police FC match. It was in the dying minutes. Shabana FC is winning now for the first time in the stoppage time. They are ahead, and then by that being ahead, that is when now they are thinking about what can they do to win the match. They lacked the mental strength to contain the last minute pressure of the Police FC. That's again when they get to concede. What about the last match? Shabana FC is playing Kariobangi Sharks. They are on the home ground. The players know the pressure that the fans want to get a win, to get an early score. The coach introduces 3 fresh legs in the second half to pressure Sharks for a goal. But again, it's in that pressure, in the nick of the time, whereby they are again caught off guard in terms of concentration, and again they are punished by Onyango, who is a Kariobangi Sharks player, and Shabana remains vulnerable to walk home with 0 points. And therefore, it's high time now. The sports pundits have opined that the only way Shabana can come out of this pressure is if, number one, Shabana will look for mechanisms whereby they will look for early scores that come right in the first half, where we've not seen any goal in the match for the FKF Premier League so far for Shabana FC in the first half. If Shabana FC can score early in first half, they can have the confidence to contain the game moving forward, and in the last minute pressure, they may not have that pressure of defending or having too much to concentrate on the defensive laps. Therefore, that is the first thing that Shabana needs to do moving forward by the technical bench. They just have to score early. That is what will give the boys confidence and not the pressure or uncertainty of the last minute, which has costed the team for the past matches. It's a tall order, but it is the one that needs to be done. Secondly, what Shabana needs to do if it must come out of this last minute pressure is that Shabana, through the head coach Sami Okoth, must look for ways whereby Shabana, in the following games, by the stoppage time, they must look for a way that they are ahead by 2 goals. Regardless of what, they should be ahead by 2 goals, because in all the 4 matches, at 98 minutes, Shabana FC is always at clean sheet. Meaning if they are ahead, it means they will be doing well by the 90th minute. So if Shabana can score 2 goals, they can be guaranteed of most likely 3 points if they are ahead by 2 goals at the 90th minute. Or if worst happens, they can be guaranteed of at least 1 point, but they cannot lose, because Shabana FC, even from the National Super League, it has been difficult for Shabana FC to be scored 3 goals. In as much as the goalkeeping section, the defensive section has been greatly blamed for the first 4 matches, the big question is, what is the attacking front doing? If the attacking front could have scored 2 goals within 90 minutes, whatever has happened for the stoppage time could not have greatly counted, because in all the 4 matches, Shabana FC could have won in all those matches. And therefore, it's upon the technical bench to see whatever they can do to see Shabana scoring more than 1 goal within 90 minutes. Through that, it can help Shabana to bounce back. There is little time for all this to be done. Less than a week for us to go to match week 5, whereby Shabana FC will be hosted by AFC Leopards, another good team battling to record its first win, another good team with a good fan base, equally as Shabana FC, equally as Gor Mahia FC, and therefore it's upon the technical bench to see whether they will keep the Shabana FC house in order, to have goal galores in the matches, to have winning that can give confidence to the players, confidence to the technical bench, confidence to the fans, to enable Shabana FC be the sleeping giant who is waking up and finding their rightful place in the FKF Premier League. Stay tuned to Goosey Sports TV. We'll continue giving you in-depth analysis of the FKF Premier League as happenings occur in the playing fields. Bye-bye for now.